everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cryptocurrent. Your host here, Richard Carthon. And today I have a special guest all the way out in Oregon working on a ton of amazing projects, but the one that we're going to be focusing on today is called Yasha. We have Joy, who's one of the lead team members with us. How are you doing today?
Hey, Richard. I'm doing very good. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Well, excited to learn more about Yasha and all the amazing other companies you have going on, especially all the DAOs. But before we do that, I want to learn a little bit more about you. Give us a little bit of background on yourself.
Oh, shoot. Well, I've worked my whole professional career in startups across multiple industries, and have worked as a deal flow aggregator for like a venture capital deal
Right.
flow. And so, yeah, our whole team has a lot of experience in startups. So for Yasha as an incubator accelerator fund, it made a lot of sense. We're just really well positioned to help new projects, move through towards launch and to attaining some type of market share. So that's my background, I guess. So
That's cool, man. So tell us about that first introduction to crypto. How'd you first learn about it?
Oh my goodness. Well, my brother was an early Bitcoin investor. So he would shill me quite often on Bitcoin. My childhood friend actually founded Mu, which was one of the original Ethereum wallets, my Ether wallet. It's the foundation of many Ethereum wallets now today. I have another childhood friend, one of my closest friends, is a founder over at Olaplex on Solana, which is maybe the main, Olaplex, Metaplex is probably the main Solana NFT marketplace. So I have a lot of friends in the space. I worked on some early ETH projects prior to the hard fork and took a break after they got hacked. And now we're back in a totally different realm. It's pretty exciting, but.
Yeah, quite the journey there. So tell us about that. You come back into the space, and one of the many projects you're working on is called Yasha. So can you tell us a little bit about what it is and what the goal is with it?
Yeah, exactly. So Yasha is a decentralized incubator accelerator fund. And so we use like DAO governance to determine the best projects that we want to put forth and incubate. And these can be, anywhere on a super accelerated timeline from, 1 month or even less, depending on how well that team has their stuff together, up to, multiple years, depending if that project needs a lot of incubation, and a lot of lead time up to market. And the DAO really comes together, like the entire community comes together with whether it be positivity, technical skills, marketing skills, graphics, internet, type services, whatever it might be. And we all come together and incubate a project and launch the project together. And so it's turned out, we've had some very great successes so far. Yasha from inception achieved a 560x.
Wow.
Our Cliff token achieved a 400x at all-time high. Our Pooch project achieved a 200x. Our Neko project achieved a 200x. Most all of our projects achieve over 100x pretty quickly after launch. Is kind of what we're sort of known for right now. But we really want to be known for trying to improve this space. None of our projects are just basic, copies or cookie cutter type projects. All of them are novel and new innovations in their own right. So,
Right. No, that's pretty amazing. And to have an incubator that's had, well, first of all, 100x, pretty remarkable. The fact that you've had multiple, looks like you have a formula that is working. So for people out there that are listening to this and they're like, oh my gosh, like I've always aspired to create an incubator or want to be a part of it. What would you say are some of the key components of being able to create the successful launch and community of bringing one of these projects to market?
Well, we have a really amazing community is the thing. That's like first and foremost. We have know-how in startups, and we can apply that know-how, those skills into blockchain to launch projects. The main thing is that we have, over 10,000 people inside of our ecosystem. And so during our launches, they know what the game plan is. All of our DAO members, if they so choose, can get pre-sale into the tokens. And so, like, just to put it in perspective, our Cliff token pre-sale was a $400 contribution from our DAO members if they wanted to be a part of it. And that turned into about $170,000 within 4 days. Wow. So our DAO members are very happy, and they know what the game plan is. They know they need to hold the floor. And so they're out there shilling and marketing and really contributing on a technical level as well. So you can join the Yasha DAO and access pre-sale for these upcoming launches and be part of the whole incubation process.
That's cool. That was actually going to be my next question. So basically anyone who's listening to this right now who's interested in potentially becoming part of this DAO, you're able to join at any point.
Yeah. You're more than welcome. So,
that's cool, man. And on this, I know that, again, you've incubated quite a few different companies, and you brought up a couple of different DAOs that you're working on as well. Do you want to kind of speak on any of those?
Yeah, well, I think this will actually differentiate us from a lot of the other, dilutive type projects in the space, just in general. Our next project is called the Science DAO. And what it is, it's a decentralized think tank for inventive thought. And so the DAO would come together and choose, the most promising ideas or inventions and incubate those and then provide funding for those projects. And so some of the people that we have involved on our science panel, on our advisory panel, we have a professor of finance from Oxford University. We have the head of endocrinology at the University of Toledo. We have various well-known scientists that have achieved, awards in the sciences. And some of the projects in the pipeline, just to give you guys a perspective of what we do and how we're much different than, some of these dog tokens or, whatever you guys see out there. The University of Toledo has a CART treatment for type 1 diabetes. So that's in the pipeline. Our first incubator project with the Science DAO is avatar creation for the Unreal 5 engine, in which the avatars are able to use sign language in the metaverse. So if you're hard of hearing, you'll be able to type, and your avatar will actually be able to speak with sign language. So just creating an all-inclusive type metaverse for the future. So that's the Science DAO. It's a pretty novel concept, and there's a lot of very cool people involved. So coming up here, we actually have the professor of finance doing an AMA inside of our Discord. And so he'll be giving a lecture on finance, which is pretty, so there's a big educational component to it as well.
Yeah, that's pretty phenomenal, man. The fact that, again, you're trying to make things inclusive, being able to create an avatar that can perform sign language, like that's pretty, this is definitely one of the first companies that I've heard trying to do things like this. And with being able to get these community members and different people that will be a part of this DAO that have both the background and the credentials to be able to keep moving a lot of these different objectives you have forward. Looks like there's a lot of potential for things y'all can be going after. I mean, I know you kind of just spoke on a couple of them, but like, what do you think these kind of like doors could open up and lead to?
Oh my goodness. I mean, the types of inventions coming out of the Science DAO, they really have no bounds for what, people would be able to accomplish. And the projects coming out of Yasha, I mean, it can really be anything. I mean, it's like the portfolio within our incubator is so like from games, from game and NFT integration, integrated gaming, to the sciences. It's pretty wild. Sorry, there's somebody kind of waving at me out there in the background, dude. So I probably missed. I'm sorry. I probably missed.
No, you're all good.
So yeah, my bad, dude. So
no, you're no worries. So as a follow-up question to that, you have quite a few different DAOs that you've been able to put in place. So you have the Science DAO, but I also believe you had one specific to plants. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about that one as well?
Oh yeah, the plant DAO. It's the token is called Sprout. Basically, the team. The team, it's a group of Unreal 5 developers, and they're building trees, graphic assets of trees that you're able to plant inside of the metaverse, inside of the Unreal 5 engine. And these trees, the smart contracts, they have included the concepts of growth and decay. So the tree starts out, you'll get an NFT of a piece of fruit, like an apple, and you can plant the apple, and the tree will grow. And that metadata will show on OpenSea. As your tree grows, your NFT will actually become different. And that tree, depending on the catalyst of how you're staking your tokens, your NFT will actually be able to produce more NFTs. So it'll produce fruit, and you can harvest the fruit, and then you can plant more trees. So 80% of the proceeds from the NFT sales and volume goes to reforestation efforts. And so far in the last month, since inception, they have donated to plant 140,000 trees so far. Wow. So they're doing a phenomenal job. It might be the best use case in crypto. You know what I mean? Like you buy, you plant trees all around the world. So 140,000 trees in sub-Sahara Africa, which is really cool.
No, man, it's extremely cool. And it's pretty sick that there are so many unique ways to set up a DAO and then have it come back to real life opportunities, but then also things within the metaverse. And I believe that you were also telling me about another potential project where you can see the NFT kind of mature over time. Was that also with the Sprout one, or was that a different NFT project as well?
Yeah, so Pooch is the other project, and it uses the same smart contracts as Sprout, where the NFT can actually grow up. So with Pooch, it's a dog NFT. It starts off as a puppy, and really where they're targeting, at least with their charitable efforts, is people that need like emotional support animals that can't actually have animals. Kids, that they want a dog, but they can't have a dog. They're not in a place where they can actually have a dog. And so creating like the most realistic digital pet that you can have, like to the point where I think the Unreal 5 team, they're working on developing with some AR glasses. So if you're wearing like the AR glasses, say, and you're walking down the street, your dog could actually be walking next to you. Wow. And then the token is actually like the dog food, right? And so you need to be staking your token in order to make your dog grow, essentially, right? So if you're not taking care of it, it's not going to end up in very good shape. And that'll reflect in the metadata on OpenSea as well. So,
which is really unique. And again, it just goes to show when you are part of an incubator and have exposure to a lot of amazing projects, I imagine it becomes challenging to decide, okay, which ones do you want to take on? Which ones do you want to say, hey, come back later, etc. When you think about the projects that you decide to bring into the Yasha incubator, what are some of the criteria that you're looking for?
Well, the team is usually the most important part. So we want to know who the team is, obviously, and see, even if they don't have all the skills right now, can we help, with mentorship or advice, or can we add people onto the team? So like we've brought in people like our friend Anthony, who is he's vice president of an investment bank. He's the former CFO at Cardia Chain. We brought him in and added him to specific teams. We've added other people into various teams to kind of round out, to create more strength within that team. But I think the biggest criteria, at least for me and my team, can speak on their own behalf, but I want to be able to see a path forward, right? Like, what is the path forward specifically? So for Pooch, for instance, we don't really know. Like, we know what the market cap of dog, we know how much money people spend on their dogs each year, right? We know how many products they buy for their dogs. We know how many people actually buy dogs. We know how many dogs there are, right? There's so many different metrics, so many data points for dog owners out there. So what is, like, we don't know the true demographics of the metaverse, how it will expand. We don't know how many people will want digital animals. But if you think that it's like 1 million people, right? Maybe 1 million people in the entire world want a digital pet. Okay. When you're talking about creating an NFT collection of 10,000 and selling 10,000 NFTs, right? Of a picture of a duck or, whatever is out there, right? Like, we have a Bored Ape, you know what I mean? Like, I can't wrap my head around why we spent so much on a Bored Ape, but we did. But there's 10,000 of them, right? For the dogs, I actually truly see a path forward where, like, instead of 10,000, it's potential over time for people that will interact with the metaverse and become involved with the metaverse and that want digital animals that they can take care of for their children, emotional support animals, whatever. Is there 1 million people? Can we sell 1 million Poachy NFTs, right? Because at a $200, ETH price or whatever it might be, that's a revenue potential of 200 million. Is that revenue potential? Is it 200 million people? Like, how many people, like, what are the demographics? So that's what I mean by seeing a path forward towards real scalability, and towards attaining market share is really what I look at specifically. The rest of the team probably has their own data points that they look at. But for me, it's a true scalability in future demographics. Like, 5 years from now, what is the market share going to be? Do we see a path to attaining that market share? And if yes, then we're willing to try it, right?
Right. No, for sure. And I appreciate you explaining that criteria. On that same note, as we look into the future, there's a lot of excitement in the world of crypto. There's a lot of different buzzwords, of course, that everyone's looking at, whether it's DeFi, DAOs, NFTs, etc. What do you think, as we're now in early 2022, what do you think, if you had to define by the end of this year, what will this year be known for? Is it the metaverse? Is it NFTs? Is it DeFi? What's your call on what's this year going to be all about?
Oh, well, you know what? So right now we've been tasked, I'm going to say this on a personal note, I guess. I'm not the most knowledgeable. Okay. I'm not an investment expert. I'm not a lot of these things that people seek us out for advice on. Okay. But for us, we've been tasked with helping the sovereign nation of Native American tribes in North America develop their own national currency as a sovereign nation. And I want to say, just on a personal level, what I would want to see, I want 2022 to be known for when the Native American tribes of the Americas are able to create their own sovereign nation's currency. That's what I want 2022 to be known for. Metaverse, obviously, big buzzword. DAOs, big buzzword. But depending on how the people dump supply and accumulate supply at the top, I mean, you're still in a whale's game. That's it. So I think that's one of the bullish cases for the Science DAO overall is, there's retail investors, but then also for Science DAO, the people that you're onboarding as it, on the advisory panel are biotech funds, institutions, universities, right? These are like the types of investors, right? Or DAO participants that you're onboarding. So it's I don't know, man. What do you think? What do you think 2022 will be known for? Man,
that's awesome. First, I just want to definitely call back out. It's amazing that you're getting to work with trying to create a sovereign national currency for Native Americans here in the States. That's awesome. Good luck. I hope that is the year. 2022 is the year for that, because that would be really, really special. My hot call on the year is, I think this is going to be a big year. A resurgence of DeFi. I think as more retail investors start to come in, and even institutional investors come in, and they start to look for diversification away from the regular markets, and also realizing that traditional banking, if you're sitting on all this cash and you're only making maybe 1%, and you can go into crypto and be making a lot more than that. I I think there's a lot of opportunity in the world of DeFi. So I think that DeFi could see its second coming, if you will. It's round two of a lot of substantiated attention and refined down like lending skills that a lot of people are going to start to realize and participate in. But of course, there's a lot of other things to look at. I think NFTs also are going to have a pretty solid year as well. But that's my hot take. But Joey, man, thank you so much for spending some time with us. I always like to wrap up with 2 fun questions as we go through this. My first question for you is going to be, with all of the information that you've been able to gather through creating this incubator, if you could get 1 to 2 pieces of wisdom right now that you have from when you first got started in this, what would you tell yourself?
Do it because of the project, not because of the money. I know that the parabolic gains are fun and everything, but at the end of the day, things like a sovereign nation's currency or the Science DAO, they're much bigger than the potential gains that you could have. And then also remember to spend time with your family and spend time in nature and spend time being a human in a 3-dimensional world, guys. That's what I would say, because at the end of the day, although we're essentially in a metaverse on the internet, and Telegram and Discord and YouTube, it's almost a metaverse, right? We can communicate with so many different people and experience each other, communicate, multidimensionally, right? Not just on a 3-dimensional level. Don't forget to pick up a hammer and build things and fish and be a real human being. So,
for sure, no, I appreciate that. I think it's a really good piece of wisdom. As much as we have been between COVID times and just being a lot more decentralized, even with remote work, it's always good to keep making those in life, IRL, in real life connections and spending time with family. And again, like you said, for projects that make a lot of sense to our listeners right now, for everyone that's listening to this, if you find a project that makes a lot of sense for you, yes, if you can make your money, that's great. But also understand if there's a greater good or a bigger meaning into why you're getting in behind a project, that could have a lot of merit as well. So make sure you keep considering that. But Joey, man, as we wrap up here, what is a final thought that you want to leave with everyone here today?
Oh my goodness. I don't know, man. Check out Yasha. We have the Science DAO coming up. I'm not sure. Final thought, thanks for having me. And final thought, guys, for real, thanks to everybody involved. Deregister, Jess, Mco, Z, Budash, everybody. There's so many people, guys. There's over 50 people working on this thing, and thousands of people inside of our ecosystem. So just thank you, everybody, for stepping up and being a part of it. So.
Awesome. Great. Yeah. Great final thought. Joy, what are ways that people can connect with you and learn more about Yasha?
My handle is Peyote1 on Telegram, Twitter. I don't tweet very often. I just made my Twitter, but it seems to be doing well. And then any of the Telegrams, guys, I'm on VC quite a bit. I'm usually the one to break the news, but if you go to Inuyasha.io, you can join the Discord or the Telegram, and I'm usually typing in the announcement channel and sending notifications out to everybody, and then working in the background as well. So
awesome. Well, sounds good. Well, everyone listening, make sure you go and check that out. And of course, stay cryptocurrent.